Yo, yo, it's JSF. How y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well. I know it's been a little minute since I put out a video. I've just been busy and then trying to grind and actually play this game a lot. You know, the videos weren't doing that well anyway. But anyway, I wanted to do a month one tier list. And I know some people are, again, going to say it's too early for a tier list. You just did a tier list, blah, 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 blah. But I want these to be kind of like living tier lists, like see what we thought at week one, see what we thought at month one, then maybe like month 6, 1 year, whatever, right? So we can track like what we thought of the game, because we might look back in a year and go, wow, we didn't know shit. We might go back in a year and say we were exactly right. And it's just important and cool to document this type of stuff. And this tier list video won't be nearly as long as the week one tier list, because you kind of had to, well, I kind of had to explain every character, right? And I'm still gonna talk about each individual character on the tier list, but it's not as much like, we have an understanding, right? Like if you look at the top tier on this tier list, you see what it says, right? You know who's going in that tier. So anyway, if y'all do enjoy the content, like, comment, let me know y'all enjoying it. Let me know what y'all think. But anyway, let's start this tier list video off. First of all, no question, we all know the vibes. We all know what time it is. Soul Bad Guy is the best character in the game. Everybody who knows, every competitive player, pro player, influencer, casual player, everybody should be able to tell that Soul is the best character in the game. If somehow you aren't aware, he's got a 3-frame normal, which is also an amazing anti-air, which is also 2-hitting and cancelable into other normals, then cancelable into a special move that's straight up just for combos. His SDP is stupid, his HDP is stupid. His damage output overall is just stupid. He's got a command grab, Vortex is mad good, Bandit Bringer is stupid. He's the best character in the game. I want to make a video about how to nerf this character because he's a problem, but I don't want him to be butchered. But Soul's the best character in the game. I don't think I need to beat a dead horse with that one. We all know that, right? He's in a tier of his own just because he's everything. The only thing Soul doesn't have is an overhead. He has everything but an overhead. And the thing is, I mean, you could say that he has Bandit Bringer, but that's extremely slow, right? But he doesn't need it because he has, I didn't even mention Far Slash, which is crazy. That's just mad plus. Close Slash is mad plus. We know the vibes with Soul. Let's talk about the other characters, because this is where it's going to get interesting. This is where, like, my tier list is going to be close to what it was before, but it's definitely going to change. It's definitely going to change. So, next up, you know the vibrations, we got May. And I'm going to say 2 and 3 are interchangeable. They're not ordered. They can be who they are. Y'all know the deal with May. Jump S is ridiculously stupid, or Jump H is ridiculously stupid. Her Jump S is stupid too. I think it pulls her upward in the air or something. I don't know. Dolphins are still dumb. Even though you can, like, the horizontal dolphins, you can hit the dolphin before it reaches you, obviously, but still, the character is still ridiculous. Damage output is ridiculous. Her dust is mad. It goes like, it'll hit you from round star range. And shit is like Axel's, and we'll get to him too. You know what I mean? She's got another overhead. She's got a command grab she can combo off of. Her damage output is OD. She's got a reversal super, obviously, like everybody. She doesn't have a DP, but she doesn't need one. She can use up dolphin like it's a DP. In some instances, like, she's got damn near everything. No, she does have everything. May does have everything. What am I talking about? That's why she's an S tier. That's why there's Soul tier and then there's S tier. Because May is not an A tier character. She's busted. Like, she needs to be toned down. Her Jump H needs to be toned. Like, some of her things need to be slightly toned down. I don't think they should butcher the character because she's not, like, ruining the game, but she's kind of ruining. I'm not gonna say she's ruining the game, but she's ridiculous. I think we all know why she's good. Number 3 or 2A, you can say this is 2A and 2B, I don't care. Leo's busted. You can say Leo is better than May, and I wouldn't argue with you. Leo is damn near Soul. Leo has literally everything. Leo players will just raw run through to try to get in a back turn, to try to cross you up, quote unquote. In the back turn stance, he's a nightmare. He can dash through you. Lows, you can't, you know what I mean, barely react to. Overhead, you kind of can't react to either. The overhead is faster than I thought. I didn't know it was like 18 frames. Its animation is very distinct, so it's kind of reactable, but it's not, and it's safe. And if you block it, he can go into his parry. He can just dash through you, and then you don't even know what side you're on. He can combo off the overhead. He's got a command grab. He can just do the run through. He's got a million options all the time in back turn. He's a nightmare. And in regular stance, Leo is good too. Still has his flash kick, which is the most ridiculous reversal in the game. It's really fucking stupid. He has a super that's plus on blocking back turn as well. I forgot to mention that. But in his regular stance, he's got good ass moves. So Leo, you know, jump H is busted. We've seen Sonic Fox, we've seen K7, we've seen a lot of good players play Leo. We've seen what the character can do. I don't think anybody's gonna argue about this placement. If you think Leo is lower than S tier, you just don't know anything. Like, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. Like, that's not my opinion, that is an objective fact. If you think Leo is lower than this, you're just not correct. You're just wrong. Like, please go learn the character, please. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. Now this is where people are probably gonna disagree with me, but it's my tier list, and this is a change I'm making from the last tier list. I'm gonna go ahead and put Axel up here. And before anybody says Axel's not that good, I would love for you guys to leave comments and tell me, who does Axel lose to? Who are Axel's bad matchups? Because something a lot of people don't know or don't want to accept is Axel beats Soul. Soul is the best character in the game. And don't get me wrong, if Soul touches Axel, Axel is gonna explode. But it is extremely difficult for Soul to touch Axel. In a round start, the matchup starts off at Axel's range. So Soul has to make a hard read to try to get in and finish it before it starts, or he's gonna get knocked back full screen and it's party time for Axel. I've played that matchup a lot. I've watched others play it a lot. I don't see a world where Soul wins that matchup at all. But in saying that, I can't see a character on the roster who Axel loses to. Some people say Chip, but I play a lot of Chip. I play Chip a ton. I'm a Chip main. I've watched other Chip players. Like I said, I've watched Axel players. I'm not convinced. I'm not gonna say Chip doesn't, but I'm leaning towards even at, if anything, I don't think Chip beats Axel. Not a good Axel. There are a lot of Axels just doing shit, and then there's some really, like, when I played Reynolds and we played 6 straight games, I was like, I have no idea what to do. But other Axels I can destroy with Chip, right? So, like, it's not just like my personal experience. That's part of it, and then watching, learning, you know what I mean? Seeing what other Chip players do in the matchup, seeing what other Axel players do in the matchup, seeing missed opportunities, etc. I just don't know who beats Axel. I don't see a character. I'm looking at the whole roster. I don't know who beats Axel. I've heard Giovanna does. I've heard that before. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never seen that matchup played out. But that's it. Like, there is no definitive bad matchup for Axel, in my opinion. And that's like a huge deal that nobody's talking about. Like, we're starting to see more Axels in top 8 of tournaments because the character's really strong. And especially against a character like Chip, it doesn't matter that Axel quote unquote does low damage, because nobody does low damage against Chip. Chip can get 2-touched by Millie, right? And I'm not here to downplay Chip. I think Chip is mad good. I'm not here to downplay. I'm just speaking from the character that I play, right? But Axel is, like, put it this way. If the top 3 get nerfed, if Soul, May, and Leo get nerfed, Axel is going to be the best character in the game. I'm calling it out. If those 3 characters get nerfed and Axel does not get nerfed, I am playing Axel. He's going to be the best in the game. Like, he just is. Not to, I know he's a polarizing character. Apparently in every Guilty Gear it's like this. Axel's just a hard matchup. He's a polarizing character when the game first comes out, but I don't see people getting better at the matchup. I don't see, like, the first week, first month, yeah, Axel's hard to fight, but after that, nah, we know how to fight him now. It's not that crazy. It's not fake. He's actually good. He's actually really good. Yeah. And if you know how to, like, keep people out, how to use your burst smart, how to use your RCs smart, like, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, we haven't seen that much optimized play yet. Like, people aren't optimizing that much. Like, Reynolds was the first Axel player that actually used Axel Bomber against me. Like, that's the first time I ever got hit with a fucking TK Bomber loop. Like, I'm like, okay, like, this is a different level of Axel. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are just certain things it's like every Soul you play isn't Deb level Soul. You know what I mean? Or Punk level Soul. So just because a lot of people play the character, you know what I mean? We aren't always seeing the highest level. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about Axel. This character is busted. Like, I think he's mad good. I think he's way up there, right? After this, I'm thinking, because I think the A tier is like top tier. The S tier is like they probably need some slight nerfs. Slight nerfs. I don't think Leo should be butchered. I don't think Mei should be butchered. But I think they have things that should be slightly toned down. I think we know Soul is fucked up. Other than that, I might leave this the S tier because I don't think any other characters need to be nerfed. So now we get to the top tier. The top tier of characters that I think are really good, very viable, really good characters, but don't need to be toned down at all. They're just good top tier, strong characters. So we're gonna start with Chip. Like I said, I'm not here to downplay Chip. If you see Chip in A tier and you think, wow, why is he so low? Why is he so low? Fam, this is top tier. This is A tier. Like, I know my tier list doesn't have many tiers in it, but think about it. Soul is the only one in Soul tier. So Chip is in the second tier from the top. I know it's gonna look a little lower, like, oh, he's in the middle of the tier list, what? But you gotta pay attention to what the tiers say and what they mean. So Chip, I consider a top tier character, an A tier character, a very viable, very strong character. You know what I mean? He's not unbalanced though. I think he has obvious strengths, and I think he has obvious weaknesses. And his weakness isn't only his health. That's the obvious weakness, which is definitely an issue. If you touch him, he dies. But he also, like, he doesn't do a ton of damage. Some of his strong tools are very slow, so you have to really condition your opponent. Chip's, like, to the untrained eye, it looks like Chip's whole deal is I'm gonna mix you, I'm gonna mix you, I'm gonna mix you. And it's not really that, because Alpha Blade isn't really a mix-up like that. You know what I mean? His command grab isn't really a mix-up like that. You have to really pressure and condition your opponent to not press in certain situations. Then you can get away with stuff like that. But until you do, you can't, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna go low Rekka than the overhead Rekka. The overhead Rekka is extremely slow. Most of the times I hit people with the overhead Rekka, it's not because they got mixed up. It's because they're mashing. You know what I mean? Or they're expecting the low and then they try to do something, right? Whatever. So it's stuff like that. So Chip's really, really strong, but he's not as crazy brain dead as I thought he was at first. I ain't gonna lie, when I first saw Chip, I was like, I hate this character. All you motherfuckers do is run around and do shit. You don't think your character's brain dead. And some Chip players do that. But if you're playing like a Soul or something like that and they play like that, all you gotta do is touch them once. That's it. Like I said, Millie can two-touch shit. And Millie is known for having extremely low damage. And I don't mean two-touch off crazy counter hit. No, I mean like off of air to air. So Chip is really good, but he seems fine. He doesn't seem overpowered. Anyway, the next character, we got Ramlethal Valentine, who I kind of want to talk about, but I might make a video about Ram. Ramlethal is good, but as you can see, I don't even have her in the top 5, I guess. I think she's good. I think she's strong, but she's Ram. Like, she's not. I've said this before and I'll say it again. She is only scary if you have bad habits or you make mistakes or you don't really know what you're doing, right? But once you really know what you're doing, she's not that scary. Now, the Ramlethal player can be a really good player, right? They can be anti-airing you really well. They can be waiting and baiting and whiff punishing you really well. They can, you know what I mean, strike throw mix you really well. But that's player strength and not character strength. The character strength is she's got big buttons, she's got amazing corner damage. You know, Ramlethal versus Chip is a meme matchup because she can 95% him in one special, or one super, I should say. So, you know, there's stuff like that. But like, the character herself isn't that scary when you understand the game a bit more, because she doesn't have any mix-ups. She doesn't really have any overheads. She doesn't have a command grab. Her low string, she has to really be up in your face because her sweep has no range, right? She has to really be in your face to get something off of that. So Ramlethals have to run up, throw you. They have to run up, far close slash you. They have to do shit like that, right? They have to do the run up, strike throw mix shit. You know what I mean? The corner game is scary, but we all know you can jump out of that shit now. So if a Ramlethal player just throws a sword at you, it's not the end of the world. She's good. She's strong. I have her as a top tier character, but she's not Leo. She's not Mei. She's not Axel. I don't even think she's really Chip, but I can have her next to Chip. I can live with that. Anyway, next up we got Zato 1. I'm gonna put Zato 1 up here Because Zato, I believe, is extremely strong, but he also has weaknesses. His defense is sus. And I like this, though. I like how they designed this game. And you're going to hear a lot of this. There are a lot of characters who have a lot of strength, but they have weakness. Like Zato doesn't have a DP. His invincible super is not even like traditionally invincible, I don't think, right? Without Eddie, Zato is kind of a fish out of water. With Eddie, Zato can destroy you. He's got a command grab. He's got multiple overheads. He's got his, I think it's 6H where he leaps at you. It's like a good-ass throw bait move. And if that shit counter hits, like, he's got a lot of really good shit. His jump buttons are busted as hell. Jump P is busted. Jump D is dusted. Jump heavy slash. The little, whatever that shit is. The little swinging, like, axe looking thing. That shit is busted. Jump dust is an air dash. Like, he can fly. Zato's mad good. If you watch good Zato players and the setups and shit that they come with, this character's terrifying. But again, if you rush him down, he dies. If you, like, when I play against Zato with Chip, I know I gotta get in there. Like, I gotta get in that ass, and I can't let him get his game started, because once he gets his Eddie shenanigans, it's a wrap for me. But that's the balance to it. I think he's very viable, very possible to do anything you need to do with Zato, but he's got a weakness, as he should. Like, this is why I think these are the top tier characters, because I think they're balanced. I think they're fine. The characters above this row, I think, are busted. So I just want to hammer that point home. Next up, we got young Nago. Young Nagoriyuki, however you say this character's name. I still hate it. I think it's the worst fucking name to give a black character, but whatever. I say that as a black dude, but whatever. So it's beside the point. Nago's mad good. Again, he has the blood rage caveat. But I feel like if you're a really good Nago player, you either won't go into blood rage or you will do it strategically, or you'll do it like you'll know the risk and do it. Like, it's like doing a wake up DP. Like, I know the risk when I do this. I know I might get blown up and killed for this, but I'm gonna let it rock. So I feel like when you get to the higher levels of Nago play, it gets like that, to where like you're not accidentally getting blood rage, right? Lower levels, yeah, you're accidentally getting blood rage and losing, but that's just because you need to get better with the character and understand him more, right? Character's buttons are insane, and the thing is, I'm sure everybody knows this by now, but as his blood gauge fills up, as it gets to the third section, his buttons get insane range. You know what I mean? They do, like, his normals do chip. His normals do chip. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, he has great anti-air buttons, great footsie buttons. His spin is 0 on block. He can mash after, or he can backdash after. Try to whiff punish you for mashing. Like, he's got a lot of mind games. He can make you guess. He can make you explode because his damage is OD. Even if he gets in blood rage, if he has meter, you have to be careful because his blood rage super does a ton of damage and can get him right back out of blood rage. This character is OD. He's really good. His command grab is good. His command grab empties the blood gauge. He's really good. I don't know why people downplayed this character. I don't know why people thought he was bad, said he was bad. I don't really know. I don't play him personally, but I fought him a lot, and I see a lot of people. I watch a lot of people play him. He's really strong. Now you might have to watch the blood gauge and know how to balance it, but that's part of the character balance. Like I said, these characters are strong, viable, but not busted. Next up, we got. Here's a change from my last tier list. Giovanna is top tier. I got Giovanna in this tier. I had her in the lower tier before, but after watching her a lot more, playing her a lot more, and just learning about her a lot more, I don't know if they buffed her DP, but that shit is a DP. I know they say it's not a DP, it doesn't have invincibility, but that shit is a DP. It's like a 6P DP. You can't hit it like if I try to press her on wake up and she does that shit, I get smoked every time. That shit is just like a DP. She's really like she can dash at you from full screen and far slash you. She's just really fast, really hard to deal with. If you're a good Giovanna player, she's a nightmare to deal with. She doesn't have like I said, she doesn't have the super full screen presence, but like I said, she can dash at you from full screen and hit you with a far slash. Like, she has sliding buttons. She doesn't have a run, she has a dash, but her dash is extremely far. It goes really far, has very little recovery, and if she does buttons out of her dash, they kind of slide forward, right? So she can slide from full screen into Vegito kicks, and that move is busted. Her far slash is ridiculous. Close, I think her close slash is plus, but don't quote me on that. I would have to check it. She's really good. She does really good damage. Her dust, her 2D, her sweep, not dust, her 2D, her crouching dust is busted. It's broken. It's ridiculous. The move doesn't have a hurt box. There's like half of the range of the move is in front of her. It doesn't have a hurt box. And if it counter hits, it gets mad damage. And it's -3 on block. So she can literally mash sweep from half screen away. If you can't really do shit, you can try to box dash, instant air dash at her and hit a button, but then she can DP you, and her DP has anti-air properties, or 6P you. Her 6P is mad good. Her jab is mad good for some reason. It has no range, but it has hella range. Like, this character is really good. If you're a solid player, she's really, really good. Next up. I'm gonna go, and this is where people are definitely gonna start to disagree. I'm definitely gonna go Potemkin. Now, these characters later in the roster is not exactly ordered, but whatever. I'm going Potemkin. Potemkin's damage is ridiculous. If he can land a pop buster, it's ridiculous. If he gets meter, GG. Like, if Potemkin gold bursts you, like, he can put out his Aegis Reflector super and then dare you to move. He can hammer fall up to you if you try to jump out. He can heavenly pop buster because he has full meter. It's just terrifying. He does mad damage as it is. He has armor on a lot of his moves. Like, yeah, you have to work to get in, but honestly, just look at the roster. Like, think about it. You're like, oh, but it's so hard for Potemkin to get in. Well, yeah, against Axel, against Kai. But look at the other characters. Against Soul, you gotta approach him to some degree, right? You know what I mean? Against Geo, you gotta approach him. Against Chip, you have to approach. Like, a lot of these characters, Anji, you have to approach Potemkin. So it's not like every character can just run away from him the entire game, right? So him being big, slow, and all that, yeah, but it's not as much of a big deal as it would be. It's not quite Zangief. But Pot's mad strong. If you a Pot player, if you see the good players, if you watch Fab play Pot, if you watch Jam play Pot, some other really good Potemkin players, you know what time it is. You know the vibes. All right. Now, here's where it gets really, 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 really interesting, because I'm gonna go ahead and put Ino up here. I think Ino is good. I think Ino is very strong. I think Ino is very slept on. I think people think Ino is bad for some reason because she doesn't have a dash. Ino's never had a dash, bro. This is her design. She doesn't have a dash. So what? She has solid neutral. She has 50-50, so she has damn near the best mix-ups in the game. If she doesn't have them, right? And if you know the optimal combos for your situations, she can do really good damage. Especially she can counter hit 6H into a lot of damage. I don't see that many Ino players doing optimal setups and combos. They're just trying to land a sweep. They're either trying to just dash into air slash over and over again, or they're trying to 2K 2D fireball, land a hit 2D fireball, and like that shit is cute and all, but you're not getting any damage, right? So I think a lot of Ino players are taking the wrong approach, and they just have bad neutral. Like, a lot of people who play this game just have really bad neutral, because you really don't need great neutral in this game. It can reward you if you have it, but a lot of people are just gonna try to mix you. Like, Millie players tend to have pretty bad neutral. They just dash around and then hope they hit you. But like, if you're not doing your air dashes and jumps with a purpose, I mean, you're gonna just get slapped. But yeah, I think Ino's really strong. I think she's very, very slept on. I don't know why people think she's bad, other than, oh, she doesn't have a dash. She has stroked the big tree for a reason, bruh. Like, if you mix up your options, mix up your chemical love, your fireball, your slash stroke with heavy slash stroke, etc. Like, make them need to work to understand what you're doing. I think people will see the strength of this character. All right, now I gotta put Millie up here too. Millie does have her issues, but Millie is one of those characters where I think the more setups they come up with, the more tech they develop, the stronger the character will seem. She does have some issues, right? Like, she doesn't have the safest pressure, especially if she doesn't have meter. Like, hair car is unsafe. Disc, if she just tries to do a block string into disc, it's not real at all. S disc is punishable, and H disc you can just jump out of. So stuff like that. So I definitely would have her at the bottom of this list, but I do think she's better than the other characters. I think she's better than the 3 remaining characters in the game. She does have to work pretty hard, but I don't think she has to work as hard as like say Kai, right? I don't think she's as bad as like Anji. I think she's solid. I think she's good. I think she can get the job done. I think she's the least top tier of the top tier, but she's still up here. She can still do it. You can still make it work with Millie. You definitely can. Even though she dies extremely fast, so does Chip, so does Zato. Like, that's just part of the game, right? She's got that. But Millie, I think, is definitely strong. And in certain matchups, her health isn't really that big of an issue, right? Because she's fighting other characters with the same issue. But yeah, Millie, I think, is definitely a good character, definitely a strong character. I don't think she's bad at all. Next up, we got, I'll put Anji Mito first. We got Anji. Y'all know the vibes with Anji. Fujin's a whole ass gimmick. Spin is not bad. Now, Spin can be a gimmick, but Spin can be real. His counter super anti. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It can hit you from behind for some weird reason, and wall break you, which is funny. But yeah, Anji is still Anji. He doesn't have quite as much dirt as the other characters. He's got some like setups and gimmicks and shit like that, but you can blow most of his shit up if you have a DP, or he has to play really safe, and if he plays really safe, it's not as rewarding. He does have the best anti-air move in the game. I forget, it's like quarter circle forward and kick or something, but he has the best anti-air move in the game. It's ridiculously good, and if it hits, he can get damage off of it. His damage is good, but he just doesn't quite have what like some of the other top tier characters have, and he struggles in certain matchups, but he does well in some matchups. Like, I don't think he struggles that bad against Chip at all, because J2K doesn't really exist in that matchup, right? You know what I mean? Like, he can get some shit off of this little spin. You got to be weary of the code, because if you get counter hit, you're dead. As shit, right? So Anji's all right. Again, the B tier characters are not terrible. They're not terrible. They're just not the top tier characters. Anyway, next up. I'm gonna go ahead and put your boy Loust. F in the chat for your boy Loust. Oh man, Faust got some shit, but his frame data is atrocious. His frame data is atrocious. He's RNG god. You can make it work with Faust, but you're working way harder than everybody else. Like, you're working way harder. You gotta be on Nage and Hook time, where you just love the character, because you're not really gonna get free wins playing this character. He's just not that strong. He's got some shit, right? He's got a command grab, you know what I mean? With meter, he's got a teleport. He got gimmicks off that, or setups off that. You know what I mean? He's got shit. If you get Afro on him, you set it on fire, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's got stuff, but a lot of it is very, very situational. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that can be blown up. Like, he's got J2K, but I think that shit is unsafe on hit, so you gotta cancel it into something. Like, he's got a lot of weird things about him. Like, his supers are garbage. His supers are awful. They're the worst supers in the game, and it's not even close. So he's got some things that could be buffed a little bit. You know, his damage isn't the greatest either. Tornado mad unsafe. There's a lot of things about Faust. You know, Faust is an interesting character. He looks really cool. He's got some funny, cool shit, but he just needs some buffs. And then finally, we got Kai Kisuke. Kai's just too honest, man. And here's the thing. Honest doesn't necessarily, and this tier list is supposed to be faster than the last one. And honest doesn't necessarily mean bad, but if every other character has dirt and you have no dirt, you're not as strong as the other characters, right? Even characters like Faust and Anji have dirt. Faust has a command grab. Faust has a teleport. Faust, his dust actually works really well for him, because his 2K is really good, right? It's like 2 or 3 hits or some shit like that. You see, I think it's 2 hits, but whatever. With Kai, you have to, like, Kai is kind of like a bad version of Ramlethal, honestly. Like, because Kai has to rely on system mechanics. He has to run up and throw you. He has to use dust. Charge dust is a gimmick because it's 28 frames. But he has to use regular dust into RC. Hopes he can get something off of it, right? Kai's game plan is throw a fireball at you, make you block 214S. What is it? Diary clap, whatever that is, the sword swipe, and then just try to hit you with a flip kick. Get you a shock state, try to food arc you into bullshit, right? That's his entire game plan, and it's extremely linear. When you know it's coming, just anti-air him, 6 PM, DPM, whatever. Like, when you know it's coming, like, he doesn't really have anything. He has no overheads. He has no command grabs. he doesn't really get plus frames unless he has, like I said, unless he got you in shock state and hit you with the flip kick, the food arc. But if he doesn't, then he has to like 6K you, which is mad slow. Like, Soul can just press forward slash and get plus frames. Kai has to set you up and do all this shit. Dragon Assault is pretty much useless. Sacred Edge is pretty much useless. Like, you know what I mean? Ride the Lightning is good, but it doesn't do any damage. Like, you know, you just have to work too hard. 2S is good. 2S Stun Dipper, you know, but what are you really getting off of that? Like, he's just not that good. But anyway, here's my month 1 tier list. It probably doesn't look that different from my week 1 tier list because, I mean, some of the strong characters are still strong, but obviously you see characters like Axel go up, Giovanna go up, you know what I mean? And the bottom characters are still the bottom, but I don't have anybody in trash tier. I really was going to rename this to Gold Lewis tier because that character is trash. Gold Lewis is most likely going to be the first DLC character. For those of y'all who don't know, the DLC leaked. And that character looks trash and will be trash. I don't want to play him. Give me Happy Chaos. Give me that, man. Give me somebody. But anyway, that's my month 1 tier list. If y'all liked the video, even if you didn't like it, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Like the video if you did enjoy it. And other than that, I'm going to get up out of here, man. I've been talking for half an hour. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all stay safe. JSF, I'm gone.